What's up everyone, it is I, Magician88. Woo, yeah! And I'm going to be casting another game of StarCraft 2 that was sent to me by my friend DemonSlayer, also known as, I think it was Muhammad, who is from the SSEAS, the Sydney Collegiate Society, a very large group of people in Sydney anyway. So let's just get into the game now, as we do have, sorry my bad, we do have in the top left hand corner spawning as the red Zerg, it is FilthyRich. And in the bottom right hand corner, spawning as the blue Terran, we have SSEAS DemonSlayer. I really like the voice of the Korean announcer for GOM TV. His voice, oh, it's so good. So I try to imitate it. I'm not entirely sure if I'm doing such a good job at it, but whatever. Might not actually sound right coming through the mic anyway, so we'll see. So anyway, this is in fact going to be a TVZ on Belshire Vestige, as you can probably tell by now. This is of course a replay as well. You can see a timer. So we'll see what both players decide to do. Obviously, standard ZVT is to go for hatch first. Perhaps DemonSlayer realizes this, and maybe he will respond with command center first. So while we're waiting for the game to go underway, usually there is a bit of downtime anyway. I guess I'll just explain DemonSlayer, who I believe is Muhammad Darwich. I better just check that. No, actually, sorry, my bad. It's Farouk Darwich, a guy in the society. He is the older brother of a pair of people. What? He's the elder. He's the elder of a pair of brothers, and there has been talk amongst the society that these two brothers, they're actually, well, apparently they're kicking ass in the in-house tournament, especially in, well, at least in Division 2. Both brothers are actually not Masters players, so they're not in Division 1. But it looks like there is talk of perhaps a brother battle, if that's the right way of putting it, a brotherly battle in the final in the final series for Division 2, which is actually, if you don't remember, Division 1 of the SSEAS in-house tournament is just the Masters Division, and then Division 2 is everyone under Masters. Try and remember that, guys. It's a lot of fun, and definitely we are looking to set a time for Division 1 finals, and maybe when we figure out who's in Division 2, then we will set a time for Division 2 finals. Slight lag spike from me, actually, not entirely sure what that's about. Apparently I'm using 68% of my computer processing power. But as I said before, we did see the hatch first coming down for FilthyRich, who is actually just a random player on ladder. Meanwhile, DemonSlayer did go for his command center first. So both players opting to go for a more of a macro-heavy game, so that will actually provide quite a lot of commentary. Although it will mean that the initial engagements will probably not happen for quite a while. Freezing cold water. It's good stuff. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that well, here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. When I say freezing cold water, I mean you get ice, you put it in a cup, and then you put cold water in it. Essentially that, although I usually put a lot more ice in the water. But anyway, we did actually see a factory coming down for DemonSlayer here, who's actually going to now do the little what is it called, musical chairs routine that a lot of Terran players are doing. He's actually going to go for 2 Hellions now off the reactor instead of, say, 2 Winter Mines, meaning that he's going to try and do a bit of harass. against FilthyRich. Now, unfortunately for DemonSlayer, there are already 2 queens out on the field, especially in this natural anyway, so obviously harassing the natural is going to be a bit of a problem. I'm not entirely sure why I'm having this frame rate drop. It's a bit strange. Okay, you may have actually heard that. That was just me. Anyway, we do have a lot of banelings actually being morphed in by FilthyRich, and unfortunately with no centrifugal hooks they will probably do a rather limited amount of damage. FilthyRich not actually going for lair, but obviously because he does not have enough gas. Seriously, why am I lagging so much? I don't know why. Oh, but anyway, it looks like FilthyRich is actually going to go for it now. The bunker does fall, and the Marines and the Marauder actually do end up dying. Now, if FilthyRich could have actually got a really good attack from those banelings, that would actually be pretty good. But whoa, unfortunately, those banelings not able to take down that supply depot. That was a bit of a shock horror, really. But unfortunately, there are actually lings in the base. They are going to try and take down this supply depot first. Now this. Oh, it's unfortunate that this Hellion actually spawned right in the middle of those earlies, meaning that his DPS is actually heavily limited. Because you got to remember, Hellions do an attack in a line, which means that the high DPS comes if the Zerglings are like that and they're all in a line. The AoE would help it like that, but if the Zerglings are surrounding the poor Hellion, then of course the Hellion will die. Now I love this placement of the SCVs here. They're actually just shielding the Marine and Marauder from the Zerglings, and this supply depot is actually going to get destroyed now. It will probably well, it's not going to put DemonSlayer in too heavy a supply block just yet. Although this supply depot could actually get sniped by those banelings actually. Yeah. It's okay. We do have a bunch of Zerglings being that are already produced in FilthyRich's natural. He's actually going to move them across the field now. This one Overseer actually still staying alive. I guess that's not really too shocking, but that does mean that there's no Marines sort of scouting around the outskirts. Of course, this Overlord actually being quite a terrible Overlord, because I think that Overlord actually didn't see anything at all. Now, that supply depot actually manages to that loss of the supply depot anyway does put DemonSlayer at quite a crippling supply block, which means he can't actually produce anything for quite a while until these 2 supply depots finish, or at least until one of them finishes. Now, Lair Tech has been Lair Tech has actually been is actually being done for FilthyRich right now, which means that he is looking to go for some tier 2 units, maybe Mutas, maybe Hydras, most likely Mutas. I have seen it looks like a lot of players are going for Mutas, both in the pro scene and maybe in the slightly less pro scene. Definitely saw a lot of Mutas in CVT during like WCS, for example. That was quite a phenomenal series too. Quite a lot of good games. Definitely had fun watching them with my friends in SCS, as well as apparently a surprise visit by none other than Andrew Pender, also known as Moonglade. So that was actually quite exciting. Definitely got to see him for the first time in the flesh. That's actually pretty cool. But anyway, moving on now, back to the game. We do have a lot of Hellions being produced. We could be seeing a Hellion drop, although we only see... Okay, it's not going to be a Hellion drop. It's in fact going to be just a standard bio drop. The Hellions, in fact, are actually going to go back and try and get rid of the Zerglings. Now, they will be able to get rid of the Zerglings. I think they will have a hard time getting rid of the Banelings. Although they will be able to get rid of the Banelings, especially if he could force those Banelings into that choke. Now, this factory is actually about to burn down, and let's see if it decides to burn down. But this Baneling actually does reduce a lot of the SCV's health down, but this, of course, now the factory is actually being repaired, as well as the reactor, which means they're not going to burn down anytime soon. If the factory actually burned down, that would actually halt the Hellion production by quite a lot, because there's no other factory. Do you see another factory anywhere? Nope. But we do see two drops coming now. First one of course is going to be a marine drop on the third. Meanwhile, another drop actually being cleaned up by those zerglings and the drones apparently. Okay, that's pretty random. The spine crawler does take a bit of damage here as we do go back to the third. Oh damn it! You try to do this with one hand while you accidentally leave the mouse on the bottom, and it does actually screw around with the camera quite a lot as you try to take a drink. Anyway, so we do see 4 supply depots being placed down by DemonSlayer here. He is actually supply blocked at this particular point in time. He may be getting a little frustrated by those supply blocks because it does hold his production both in the SCVs and just the standard units. This medevac's actually going to go down, meaning that both the medevac and a marauder actually fall. But I think at the same time that does mean that DemonSlayer knows that there are mutalisks. He's probably going to stop the marauder production. He's probably going to go straight for marines. Now, obviously, when you're going against banelings, you want to get some marines in order to, you want to get some marauders to shield the marines from those banelings. But obviously, if there's too many banelings, there's simply too many banelings. FilthyRich sitting on 900 minerals. I think he's actually going to just build a stack load of drones, which means his economy is actually going to shoot high into the air. In fact, he's actually so far in the lead with the economy. If you look at this, it's 61 drones to 20 SCVs. FilthyRich really trying to cash in on his lead right now. He has killed 17 workers to only 7 from DemonSlayer. DemonSlayer needs to try and get back into the game, and the way he can get back into the game, of course, is to do a lot of drops, try to use as few units as possible to take out as much as he can. Now we do actually see a macro hatch coming down for FilthyRich here. That's actually going to be pretty good in spending the money that he had saved before. We do see more mutas being produced, as we do have a bit of a minor engagement here. The mutas, of course, going to be able to take out maybe a Hellion. They do actually take out one of the Hellions, but a lot of those Zerglings do get roasted, even more Zerglings than that one as well. Of course, these mutas do not want to engage that quickly, although they should be able to take out these 5 Marines. Although, whoa, that's actually a lot of Marines. Were they just produced? No, oh, they probably weren't. I have a bit of a cold. What the hell? Okay. Oh, that's actually a lot of banelings being produced as well. We should be seeing some pretty good hits by our Zerg player pretty soon. Meanwhile, these Marines actually managing to just scare away the drones at least. That will actually delay a lot of the mining for FilthyRich. Meanwhile, oh, here we go. The banelings are actually going to roll in, and there's actually a bit of a gap in that supply depot wall, meaning that those banelings can actually just stream in, and they do actually take out all those Marines. I think the mutas need to try and finish up what they started. If FilthyRich just goes in and tries to take out at least the main base, he doesn't. I think. No, actually he can't, because there's 2 Widow Mines, and that's actually going to screw everything up. Especially if the mutalisks actually clump up, that will actually do a lot of damage to them as well. So apparently, FilthyRich loses his loses his spawning pool, which is actually going to be quite a bit of a pain in the ass. But he is floating on 2,000 minerals, which means he really needs to consider expanding about 2, 3, 4 more times. That way he can actually just really have enough lava to spend on all that money. At the same time, we do see a small engagement. I think he manages to take out a refinery. Apparently, that's really going to halt. It's going to stop the gas mining for our for DemonSlayer, at least for a while. If I try and get a tissue. But regardless, anyway, FilthyRich going to just sit back and try and macro up a little bit more, as he really needs to try and do that. DemonSlayer actually managing to hold on, as I just mute my mic for just a little bit. welcome to Mutavision, where we see how well these mutas go before they get completely ruffle stomped by something I don't know. Alright, I'm back. So anyway, it looks like this little drop here is actually going to successfully take out the third, which is actually a really good victory for DemonSlayer here. Just these little drops are actually going to try and take out the economy of FilthyRich. This other drop here as well actually notices, should be able to see the building 4th base. If he decides to drop, he will be able to force a cancel, and that's actually another victory for DemonSlayer. It's just these little victories that actually will ensure that DemonSlayer actually stays in the game. Meanwhile, DemonSlayer may be going for his own third as well. We do see an orbital already finished in production. He should be lifting it up and just placing it right here. Meanwhile, the mutas, oh, they're actually going to fly. We'll see if they decide to fly over the Widow mines, and the Widow, oh, it looks like they will be, and, oh, it's actually going to lose. Not that many, although there is one in with 3 health. That Mutalisk is very, very lucky. Oofed, okay. But this army, this Bio Ball is actually looking pretty scary. The FilthyRich is not paying attention. He's actually going to deal a lot of damage, but these lings are actually going to like save the mutas anyway. They're gonna prevent DemonSlayer from trying to pursue the mutas, and of course these mutalisks will actually just run away or fly away because they don't actually run. What? A hive tech actually being morphed, researched, produced by FilthyRich. He's actually sitting on 4K minerals. FilthyRich, living up to his name. He's actually FilthyRich. There's absolutely no denying it. He is of course going to move a lot of his drones over to this base here. He needs to be producing things. I'm not entirely sure if he is thinking of production. He probably doesn't know what he wants to produce at this particular point in time. But right now, DemonSlayer in the lead with the supply. It's actually quite a bizarre thing for a while. I mean, I would have thought with let's have a look at the units tab here with still more drones. I mean, I would have thought that FilthyRich would have been should have been maxed out by now. And when I say maxed out, I mean maxed out in anything: Banelings, Mutas, Zerglings, whatever. And we do see 72 Zerglings being produced right now. I think that's from all the lava. And has he even? Not entirely sure. Let's have a look at the upgrades here. He has actually done centrifugal hooks, which means those Zerglings could all become Banelings, and that would turn into a very, very scary army. That's a lot of Zerglings actually just streaming in right now. You do see 20 Banelings, which I think is just simply not enough against what is essentially a Marine Marauder army. You're probably going to need a few more than just 20 Banelings. But anyway, this drop here is actually going to get completely denied, if not completely taken out, if DemonSlayer is actually going to be paying attention to that. Meanwhile, there's actually a second drop. A second drop is actually going to, it looks like FilthyRich is going to lose his 5th. I think that was his 5th anyway. He's actually going to, and now FilthyRich is actually going to go for the main. He should probably take out the hive tech as well. That would be pretty cool. Does get rid of the drones on gas, which is actually a good thing to do as well, but he's actually going to go for the infestation pit. That's a pretty bizarre choice in my opinion. He is also going to go for the spire, and that's actually a really, really good thing to go for, because let's have a look at the structures tab, which is apparently T. Look at that. There's no second spire, which means Mutalisks and such cannot be produced for a while. Oh, the drop's still happening. Will they be able to take out the hatch? I don't think so. At this particular point in time, the Zerglings are just coming in way too quickly, especially on Crete. They do move a little bit far. Oh, they actually do take out the 4th, and that's actually a really, really good victory for DemonSlayer. Actually, just shutting down. Well, not really shutting down, but at least very, very much sort of slowing down. I think that's the right word. Slowing down the production of FilthyRich. Now FilthyRich, if he decides to go for a counter-attack, that would be a really good idea, because he's got such a huge supply lead, 192 supply to only just 146. That's actually quite a big supply lead. Now I hope FilthyRich remembers that there are in fact widow mines sitting around here, so that he doesn't just move his entire army into those widow mines, because those widow mines could become the MVP of the entire game. And when I say MVP, of course I mean it, most valuable player. Now Ultralists have actually been are actually now on the field. I think DemonSlayer doesn't know anything about these Ultralists, so it looks like he's not going to be producing any Marauders anytime soon. Both players actually with a lot of minerals, and more importantly a lot of gas, which means they can produce a lot of really expensive units, high tier units. We're talking like Thors, but of course it looks like DemonSlayer's not even thinking about getting Thors at this point in time. He's actually going to stick to a Marine Marauder army. Here comes the MMM. Now the scan actually not revealing where the army is, but he does realize where they are. He needs to back up just for a sec. He needs to figure out a way of dealing with those widow mines. Otherwise he's going to be completely screwed over. And we do have 2 Overseers here as well. We do also have 2 Overlords. Not entirely sure if that's on purpose or anything, but I guess you can use those Overlords to just try and tank some of the damage from those widow mines. I think widow mines do about they should be able to 2-shot an Overlord. I can't remember. But anyway, we do see another drop coming down for DemonSlayer here. He should be able to take out this this hatchery, or at least force to cancel. No, he does not force to cancel anyway. Oh, but anyway, the huge engagement is actually going to come in, and it looks like the widow mines do actually fall. Now this army here is actually going to get completely destroyed now by those banelings. Those banelings actually running rampant, and I think those widow mines actually did quite a bit of damage to the Terran army, but unfortunately these Ultralists are just by themselves. They're going to get taken out by the Marine Marauders. There's just way too much. Whoops! There's just way too much DPS by from those Marine Marauders, Marines and Marauders. Actually, what am I talking about? Yeah, there's too much damage from those Marine Marauders. Yeah, Marine Marauders. Alright, cool. Let's just move on now, as I'm completely lost my mind. But it looks like DemonSlayer is going to go for the counter-attack now. FilthyRich not actually producing anything off a 2k economy. This is actually a really bad position for him to be in, especially since he's not actually producing anything and he has nothing to defend. He has nothing to defend against this. There's just way too many Marines. If he tries to make Mutalisks, it's not going to work. Now, whoa, that widow might actually dealt a lot of damage to those mutants, and those mutants are just going to be gone. I don't think FilthyRich realizes he still had that many resources before he decided to just leave the game. Alright, is my camera on? Yes, it is. So if we have a look back at what went wrong, I think, to be honest, I think what really went wrong for FilthyRich is just he simply didn't produce any units. He just kept on. He had the resources, and when you have the resources, you should really spend them on units. When you're maxed out, fair enough, you don't have the supply to build the units. Otherwise, you could just make a huge army. But I think also one thing that DemonSlayer did really well is that he managed to do a lot of drops. Those drops really got him back into the game, and that's really what a lot of Terran players have been doing against all races, whether it be Terran, Zerg, or Protoss. They've been doing a lot of drops, and that's actually a really effective way of getting yourself back into the game. You just need to get a small army to do a lot of damage, try and kill as many workers as you can for running away, and if you can slow down the economy and more importantly the production of, say, a Zerg player, then yeah, you can really get yourself back into the game. You can just climb back from what is essentially a massive economic deficit and proceed to kick ass. So yeah, alright, so that was actually a pretty exciting game. That was a quite fun game to cast. I gotta hand it to them, they did pretty well. unfortunately. Sometimes when you play on ladder, for example, you do get the anxiety and you just slip up on your macro. But yeah, otherwise I think the mentality, the thought processes of crap, I forgot his name, of FilthyRich were pretty good. Getting the right units, he definitely decided to go for the standard Ling Bei muted army before just mixing in some ultras, which was actually a really good idea. So yeah, not really too much I can comment on them, seeing that I am early in Gold League. But yeah, okay. So anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more crazy StarCraft action. You can also follow me on Twitter at Magician88. You can also follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Magician88, where I stream sort of every so often. Oh, one thing, I do want to remind everyone that holiday season is about to begin, which means I'm actually going to be streaming even more, making more videos, doing more crazy stuff, and obviously it's holiday season for everyone in the SSEAS, so there's a chance we'll be seeing a lot more shenanigans coming out from everyone. Apparently, three of us do a 3v3 every so often, where like they just do all sorts of random things, and hopefully I can join them and make it a 4v4. It's always going to be a lot of fun. So until then, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye. Hang on, let me do that again. Bye.